We spent a few more days in Nancy before we've travelled on to Bar-Le-duc. Nancy, this is just another example of the great glasswork. To move on, we started off by travelling on the Moselle River, which is mostly a commercially used river, so the locks are huge. We just get swamped in them. We look quite small compared. And you can see on the side with the lines, you have to put them on and move them if you're going up or down to keep adjusting them, which can be a bit of a trick because they're in a little kind of hole, but you just keep doing that. But yeah, quite a long way to go. Lovely wide waterway though, good depth of water, and just really nice scenery as you're going along the Moselle. A little bit of traffic, but you can see a boat ahead of us there. But we haven't seen a lot actually. It's been really quiet on this part of the journey, traffic-wise. And we've just enjoyed cruising along on that part. This is one of the commercial barges coming towards us. It must be fully laden given how low it's sitting in the water. They're used to transport things like sand, gravel, etc., building materials, that kind of stuff. So they sit quite low now when they're full. When they're empty, they sit about 3 metres out of the water, which we saw them in Nancy. They were dredging the marina in Nancy, and so they were bringing these into the marina, emptying them from water, so they were using water as ballast, and then they were filling them with all the crap that they were digging out of the bottom of the canal, or the marina, sorry, all the mud and everything else. So they even have cars on the back. The people that own them live on them usually in the season. We stopped in Toul for a few days, and there's Tony being Barry Morgan on his organ in the cathedral, and we had a walk around. Toul was a really nice town. It's a walled city, really quite a pretty old part of town, and we just spent a few days there wandering around, which was quite nice, and a nice little stop. Stumbled across another wedding. This is our second wedding that we've been to. Also stumbled across some kids putting on a show for us, for everybody else actually, for their parents. And we went on a bike ride to Bruley and Lucy, and to see just the scenery, and saw the Rosary Cathedral, which is that one, and that's where there's a memorial to Joan of Arc. There's lots of memorials to Joan of Arc around, but this part of the journey after Toul got a little challenging. The water levels have been quite low, and there's been a lot of weed in the water. It hasn't been pleasant sailing at all. We also went through the second longest tunnel in France. That took us 1 hour and 15 minutes to go through. This one you get escorted through. Tony was driving that day. You get escorted by the VNF. They used to tow you through, and so you'd have to put some lines on, and they'd take 2 boats through at a time, and you had to kind of register ahead. Now you just go through whenever you're there, and there's the VNF guy there. He rides his bike along, and I think about every half K he registers where you are and that everything's okay. When you start going through, he meets you, and you get given 2 gas masks, or gas masks for the number of people on board. You're only allowed 6 passengers on board going through. And you get a little safety sheet like going on an airline, and then he just escorts you all the way, and you have to get through. You have to start your journey and get out the other end before 6 o'clock, because that's what time they finish. We got through and came out the other end at 5:45, so we just made it, which was good. But you can see here the walls are in not a great state. They're crumbling in a lot of places, and that's the water level you can see there, that mark on the rust. We stopped in a little village called Ney and went for a walk that afternoon. We yomped through this field looking for an old Roman settlement, which you can see over on the left there under the tin shed. Got there and it was all fenced off and locked. And then we arrived in Bar-Le-duc. Bar-Le-duc has been really pretty, really nice. We've spent a few days there. It's where the bicycle was invented. Went up to the old town and had a wander around. Really, really pretty place. And the old town up the top of the hill was really lovely. And that's been a really nice stay for us while we're kind of moving along to get our batteries replaced.